एकादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Looks kind of crowded back there. If anybody wants to occupy these 2-3 seats by the table, you are welcome to come. Come. We saw yesterday, we saw the beginnings of the 8th chapter, the discussion of, come in front, what's the point in sitting there? Yeah, come in front. By now you know I don't bite. Yeah. Siddham. So then we saw how the seven things that are being talked about. 7 things were talked about. What were the 7 things? Adhyatma, Adhidaiva, Adhiyajna, etc., etc. All 7 things being talked about. We saw all of them. Arjuna asking the question because it was a leftover from the previous chapter. From the previous, leftover means that's which is kept in the fridge. Okay, and so this was kept in the fridge, waiting to be addressed. And so then we saw that Lord Krishna answers all the questions and then talks about the, so that is up till verse number 4, we saw that. And then talks about the last question, the 7th question, why do people think of you? Why do they have to think of you at the time of death? So this is a chapter on dying gracefully. You cannot die gracefully until you have lived gracefully, because death is not some kind of an event that suddenly comes, even though that's how most of the people see it. In fact, the whole of life is a preparation for death, especially in this tradition. Not to be morbid about it, there's nothing morbid, it's a fact of life. Death is a fact of life, and especially in the Vaidika Dharma, we have, what do we have? We have Punarjanma, we have Papa Punya, we have accountability, we have all these things. So death is in a way, it's a doorway. It's a doorway to some kind of an existence, or not. Not if one has Atma Jnanam, but if one does not have Atma Jnanam, then it is a doorway to other kinds of, first, afterlife experiences, various Loka Prapti, and you have a little package tour of all the Lokas, and then what? After the Punya which takes you to the Loka is exhausted, then one comes back. So death becomes a very important thing because we don't want to come back. We don't want to come back because why? What is to be achieved can be achieved here and now. So therefore, it's not thinking about God at the last minute, get crashing somewhere into heaven. That's not what the point is. Thinking means knowing Bhagavan. Thinking of Bhagavan means knowing Bhagavan. And how do you know Bhagavan? As yourself. You can't know Bhagavan as an object. We saw that also. You can only know Bhagavan in one way and one way alone, as the truth of yourself. Tell me, how is that knowledge going to come at the last minute? Equipped as we are, we might be with 3 tubes. One for feeding, one for breathing, one for eliminating. Okay? And so, how do you know Bhagavan at that time? So therefore, that is not the point. The point is to know Bhagavan beforehand. That is the whole idea. So that death just becomes one more event in the whole trajectory of life. It is not something to be scared about, worried about. And so, antakale cha mameva smaran. Smaran here means janan, knowing me as the truth of oneself. When one departs this body, mameva eshyati, gains me. Gains me, again we have to be very careful. Sitting next to Bhagavan is moksha, according to some people. Sitting next to Bhagavan is not moksha. Because if you take this mind that you have and then you sit next to Bhagavan, what will happen? You will sit next to Bhagavan and then you will get a neck ache because Bhagavan is seated above, and then you will be massaging your neck looking at Bhagavan. Then again, sitting in front of Bhagavan, you will wonder what the backside of Bhagavan is. Is just Bhagavan one cutout like a hoarding for a movie or something that we see on the road? And then you say, okay, I'm missing the back, especially if you're in Brahmaloka and it's Brahmaji, 4 faces. One face is towards the back. I want to see if that face also matches this face, or what is this? Then you go to take a peek in the back. Oh yeah, it's the same. Then you come back, somebody has occupied the seat. Yeah. Especially in class, in any Vedanta class, every seat is prime real estate. Okay? Yeah. The names are drawn in indelible ink. Prime real estate. And you can ask the brahmacharis to give up their life, but not to give up their seats. Because that is with great difficulty they have gained that little piece of, even though it may be the size of a postage stamp, it is prime real estate. And so you go to see the back of Brahmaji, what happens when you come back? Some idiot is sitting in your seat. And then when you are sitting in the front, you miss the back. When you are in the back, you miss the front. And like this, you can't have, this is not moksha. Because then you get sick of and tired of how long you can stare at the Lord. How long can you stare? Okay, darshan ho gaya, finished. Darshan is done, let me go. Where are you going to go? You are here in Brahmaloka. So naturally the mind wanders. Who else is here? How come they came here? I know this person. This person was just terrible. How did they come here? All these thoughts will arise. And so, if the same mind is taken to Brahmaloka without it being altered by the altar of surrender, which is this knowledge really, which is the object of knowledge, Ishvara. If this Ishvara is not understood as the truth of oneself, there is no, there is no moksha possible. So, Mam Smaran means Mam Janan, knowing me, the one who departs this life, even though they may be on a morphine drip at the last moment, even though they may have dementia, even though they may not know anything at all, they still will attain me. Attain me doesn't mean sit in front of me. That nothing happens if you sit in front of Bhagavan. You get a headache, that's all. Due to focused staring. Staring, if you stare too long at an object, you get a headache. And similarly, for you, if Bhagavan is an object, what will happen? You will never feel satisfied. Bhagavan is not unfolded in Vedanta as an object. What is Bhagavan? The truth, the content of you, the subject. So therefore, this Antakale, this is based on a belief, and then that belief is going to be talked about a little more in verse number 6. Let us chant. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam
Yam vapi smaran bhavam
Tyajatyante kalevaram Yaf prayati samadbhavam. Oh, okay. Tam tamevaiti kaunteya Sada tadbhava bhavitaha. This is the popular belief that every grandmother tells in India. Whatever you contemplate on, whatever you think, then that's what you become. That's what you become. And then so yam yam vapi smaran bhavan, whatever you are remembering, when Antakali, at the time of death, that's what you become. So if you are, let's say, thinking of dog, ayyayo, finished. Next life, puppy. Yeah. But this is not entirely true. As I pointed out, I gave a hint of this yesterday itself. This is not entirely true. Why is it not entirely true? It is not entirely true because the predominant vritti, it's not that Bhagavad vritti will come at the last minute of life. Even though you may be desiring heaven, let's say it's a strong desire, I want to go to heaven. At the end of the life, what thought may come, nobody knows. Nobody is in charge of. Some thought, predominant thought, based on the culmination of the force of desires. Unbidden it comes. And to stop that, then we have a practice in the tradition of naming the children after Bhagavan. This is a kind of a little hack. There are all these hacks. Hack means shortcut. Okay? So there is a hack. How to overcome not being able to think of Bhagavan at the last life? Aha! I can think of my beloved child, and then since the child is named after Bhagavan, what will happen? I am thinking of Bhagavan, not the child. Easy, right? Not quite. Bhagavan has the last love. So, you name the child what? Narayana. Narasya ayanam, the goal of the human being, Parameshvara. And the father is rubbing the hands in glee, Narayana, wonderful. So at the last minute I can call my dearly beloved. And then what? Straight away heaven. There is no way of knowing which Narayana is being called. Just like Yudhishthira took the megaphone in the Mahabharata war. And he was forced to tell by Lord Krishna. What was he forced to tell? Ashwathamo hataha. Ashwathama has been killed. And then he made a deal with Lord Krishna. He said, I am also going to say, Narova Kunjarova Najanami. I don't know if it was the elephant Ashwathama or the human being, son of Drona. In fact, the life of Drona called Ashwathama. Yes, you can say all that. Lord Krishna said and took away the mic. by the time Narova, Kunjarova, by the time that part came, that he kind of whispered to himself, nobody heard him. They just heard the embodiment of truth, Dharmaraya, saying Ashwathamo Hataha, but we don't know which Ashwathama. Here also, Narayana, Narayana, you don't know which Narayana. Narayana, the firstborn, or Adi Narayana, also the firstborn, so to speak. The birthless one, as though born in the form of Avatara. We don't know which one is being addressed, and this seems like a very easy hack to go to heaven, etc. Except Bhagavan has a last laugh, because how many syllables in the name Narayana? Na, Ra, Ya, Na. The fellow at home is called Nanu. Even like this, Venkateshwara, Venkatu, like this. So which name is going to come at the time of death? Narayana or Nanu? Nanu is much easier to call. So that's why Bhagavan has the last laugh. Nanu is not Adi Narayana. Nanu is who? Your local Narayana. So like this is why all these elaborate practices are there. This is the only culture where one names, that the names are of Bhagavan. It's in keeping with the Vedantic vision. We say Narayana, we say, all these names, Ramachandra, Narayana, Srinivasa, all these things, we have names of Bhagavan. Durga, Parvati, these are the names we have. So therefore, this is not only because of the vision of Vedanta, I am one with Ishvara. To name the child like that is to fill the child with the self-confidence. Not only for that reason, but also for this other reason. So it's not that the primary desire comes, it's the culmination of the force of whichever desire is there that is predominant, that suddenly may come. So some addictions, some kind of a nonsensical wants and wishes, etc. may come, and then so the Lord says, tam eva eti sada tadbhava bhavita. So they become that, they gain that. So they gain that, and that is not a very savory thing. And so therefore we train the mind to do what the next verse tells us to do. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Oh, okay, I've skipped a verse, yeah. What's happening to me today? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha mayyarpitamano buddhihi mame vaishyasya samshayah. So this is an unsavory situation. So what should be done? We should need an antidote. Tasmat. Therefore. What to do? Not just don't wait till you die. Okay? Because that's not even in our hands. One can drop off any time. And so therefore, don't wait until death is saying hello at the door. Sarveshu kaleshu. Kala here is plural. Why? It is talking of night and day, autumn and spring, winter and monsoon, any season. In India, there is 3 seasons, hot, hotter, hottest. So, all these 3 seasons, every season, Mam Anusmara. Smara, think. And even if you say no, Janihi, no, still here there is a very important upasarga, what's the word for it? A prefix. What is the prefix? Anusmara. That Anu is everything. Smara doesn't mean think of me as an object, no. Or think of me however you want, no. Yatha Shastram Anusmara. As the Shastra has unfolded, in accordance to the unfolding of the Shastra, contemplate upon me. And what does the Shastra say? The Shastra says everything is separate, you are separate from the Lord. Yes? No. Just checking. Okay, now. This is like a wake up check in the middle of the class. So, what does the Shastra say? You are non-separate from Ishvara. Every Shastra says that. Even the folk songs in India are Vedantic in nature. Even they talk about the vast oneness of everything. You take in any language, there will be folk songs, there will be Tamil songs, Gujarati songs, Rajasthani songs, all kinds of songs that talk about the fact that everything is one. Sarvam Brahmamayam. There is one such song. Sarvam Brahmamayam Re Re. Very beautiful song. Everything is nothing but Brahman. And so that is how to think of Bhagavan. Think of, again, we have limited vocabulary. Think of, again, subject-object difference comes here. So know Bhagavan as the truth of oneself, and this is how to contemplate upon Bhagavan as oneself alone. Mam Anusmara. And then of course the question will come, Arjuna or anybody, even in the current time, okay, whole day I'll sit and Anusmara you, and you will come and pay my bills or what? What about my bills? I have to pay bills, I have places to go, people to see, things to do. Are you going to do them? What is the answer? Bhagavan says no. Yudhyaja for Arjuna. Even fighting, you be in Ishvara awareness. And we'll talk a little more about what that means, because this beautiful compound, Mayi Arpita Mano Buddhihi, is going to come. So you be completely in awareness, in Ishvara awareness, do everything. And what is this Ishvara awareness? Do what you have to do. And what do you have to do? See, Lord Krishna does not pre-barricade from the subject matter. Arjuna's duty is to what? Fight. Exactly. And he brings it in the most inopportune moments. Even in a chapter discussing death and upasana, he brings in the word fight. He slips it in even in the 11th chapter in the Vishwarupa Darshana also, he slips it in. Keep fighting, keep thinking, keep remembering me and fighting. So remembering again as an object, fight here, we have to take it not as fight, but as the dispensing of our duties, Swadharma. Whatever Swadharma is there, do it in Bhagavat awareness, Bhagavan awareness. What is Bhagavan awareness? Karma Yoga. This is Bhagavan himself is doing this. Bhagavan himself, herself is doing it. I am just a instrument, nimitta. So every action, Bhagavan is the doer. Here we have to be careful. You can't say, I'm going to become a pickpocket and I am in Bhagavan awareness. Why? Because I'm praying before raiding somebody's pocket. And what is my prayer? Let every pocket be lined with greenery, O Lord. Har pocket mein hariyali rahe. Let every pocket be lined with greenery. I'm being very prayerful. And then I'll be okay with whatever comes. So let's say the person has just come out of ATM and then has a wad of notes in the pocket. I will say prasada. And then suppose comes out of the ATM, did not make a withdrawal, had gone to make a deposit. Khali pocket, empty pocket. Then also I'll say prasada. And let's say, what is the other option? The other option is the person catches hold of my hand while I'm putting it in the pocket and hands me to the policeman there. Then also I'll cry and say prasada. So, is this Bhagavan awareness? No. Why? No dharma. Dharma is a manifestation of the Lord. Dharma is not a mandate of Bhagavan. It's a manifestation of Bhagavan. So I cannot go against dharma in order to please Bhagavan. I cannot do that. It's like that fellow who was caught, it came in the papers. He was caught selling drugs-laced ice cream to children, middle school children, 10 to 12 years, at school grounds. There were so many people selling ice cream, the children would only want to go to his little, what is that, thela, what is that called? Kiosk, cart, yes. His ice cream cart only everybody was going to, because it had that addictive substance. Then he was caught very quickly because the children started to fall ill. And then he was caught, and in his defense he said, yes, I was making money and I was planning to donate it to an orphanage in my hometown. So, just like that, you cannot go against Ishvara in order to gain Ishvara, in order to please Ishvara. So therefore, in Bhagavan awareness, if everything I do, I have to do whatever is in keeping with dharma. Samanya dharma. Generally there are certain things, the right or wrong, which are universal. It's not that in one country homicide is wrong and in another country murder is okay. You will not be imprisoned. That way everybody will move to that country. You can do whatever you want. No such thing. There is a universal dharma. There is also a Vishesha dharma. Deshataha, Kalataha, and according to time, place, etc. And there is also one's own dharma. One's own dharma means how I interpret the Samanya dharma in my life. Because life doesn't come with an instruction booklet, does it now? It would be so nice if every baby was born with an instruction booklet. You are supposed to be a doctor, it says. And to this end you have to do these things, and this is how. You will have that habit of talking too much. You have to guard your tongue against impulsive speech. All this is not, such a booklet does not exist. We have to trip, we have to fall, we have to pick ourselves up repeatedly and then toe the line of dharma. This is how we do it. Trip, fall, pick up. This is what the whole life is. This is what refining Swadharma is. Trip, fall, pick ourselves up. Trip, fall, pick ourselves up. And go on. And then a time comes where we trip less, we fall less, and therefore we have to pick ourselves less and less. This is what it is. So, in do mam anusmara. Anusmara means yatha shastram. Here karma kanda is also included. Yatha dharma. Dharma, exactly how Shastra unfolds dharma as Ishvara, and Vedanta Shastra also how it unfolds Ishvara as non-separate from oneself. And in this awareness of Bhagavan, everything is Bhagavan, everybody is Bhagavan. I have Ishvarized the whole universe. Is that a word? Yes. If not, it should be a word. I have Ishvarized the entire universe, and in this I am doing what I am supposed to do. It's very beautiful because there is a heart that is without any conflict. You are just being led, and something very beautiful. Everybody really wants to be led. Even the most rebellious person on earth who is an anarchist and who says down with hierarchy, down with tyranny, down with government, down with organizations. Even the rabble rouser wants to be led. Thinks oneself being incapable of being led. Therefore comes into that kind of that goes into that kind of a trip. But this is what the truth is. There is a desire, there is tiredness. One is tired of making choices. Choices are actually oppressive. The more we know, the choices become fewer and fewer and fewer, really. They almost disappear. The more I know, the less I use the free will. The more I know, the more I am at peace with myself. I am not searching here, searching there, looking to see what can I do. And so this is all Bhagavad awareness. Then one more compound is put there to clinch the whole situation. Mayi arpita mano buddhihi. This is a bahuvrihi compound talking about the person, not about an object. Mayi arpita mano buddhihi yasya saha. The one the one whose mind and whose intellect, whose buddhi is dedicated, is committed to me, has been given to me. How do you give Bhagavan your mind and buddhi? There is a prayer, Jai Jagadish Hare, and in that one stanza comes, Tan man dhan sab kuch tera hai. And then the person sings this every day. Then Bhagavan wonders. Goddess Lakshmi asks Narayana, didn't he say this yesterday? And Narayana says, this is how they are. Don't look too much into them. This is how they are. They don't mean it. That's why they have to keep saying it. So, Mayi Arpita Mano Buddhihi means being very sensitive. It's not like you say, oh Lord, I have given you my mind, and then I try to say, okay, who can I manipulate now? No. Giving the Lord the mind is not some kind of an action. It is more of a thinking and an awareness, a right living in the flow of Ishvara. But how do I know the flow of Ishvara? Who is going to tell me where is the flow of Ishvara? What is Ishvara. That is the flow. It's not hard to see the flow. There is some kind of a synergy. Everything is happening in a certain flow. If we look at Arjuna's life, we see this flow. He was going along happily. Everything was happening as planned. And then something else happened. Its name was Duryodhana. Duryodhana happened. A big interruption to that flow. Correct? And now, where should the ball be? The ball should be technically in Duryodhana's court. But no, it's in Arjuna's court. He has to now decide how to respond to this sudden disturbance with grace, with propriety, doing the proper thing. Even though the other person is Duryodhana doing the proper thing, not at all. Duryodhana is doing the most improper thing. But how Arjuna is now in a situation, in a dire situation of needing to do the proper thing. And what is the proper thing? Being the Kshatriya, giving a punishment to Duryodhana that he will remember for several lifetimes, not just this one. That is the proper thing. Teaching him a lesson, not just because, not that he has something against him. He doesn't have grina against him. But his duty is to mete out justice. That is what a Kshatriya is there. That is what the duty of the Kshatriya. Kshatriya means that who protects the people. And so therefore, because these people, Duryodhana and his brothers, they were wreaking havoc on the kingdom. They were looting the kingdom and tyrannizing the poor praja, the subjects. So what is the proper action on part of Arjuna? To just go and do what is needed to be done. Is he able to do that even in chapter 8? No. Why? He has a parallel flow, a tributary of his own, which says, don't kill your own people. This is not Yatha Shastram. This is not Yatha Shastram. Don't kill your own people. There is a little, what is that? Tanpura. There is a little tambura in his mind. Don't kill your own people. Duryodhana is your own brother. Badly behaved, yes, but your own brother. Don't kill your own people, your own people, your own people. Mamakaha, Mamakaha. That's how the Bhagavad Gita opens. Mamakaha. Pandavaha and Mamakaha. This is how, the same buddhi is there in the blind king, blinded by delusion. Dhritarashtra. Mamakaha Pandavascha. Kim akurvata Sanjaya? Oh Sanjaya, what are my own people doing? And this fellow also has that same thinking, after all, same family. Drishtvevam Svajanam Krishna. Seeing my own people. He gets into the first panic attack ever recorded in history. Sidanti mama gatrani. My body is become atrophied. Tvakcha paridahyate. I think I have developed a fever. Where is that thermometer which you can use? And then Tvakcha paridahyate. Na shaknomi avasthatum. I have no focus. My mind is all over the place. Brahmati vacha me manaha. And not only that, I am seeing bad omens. Jackals are crying. They were crying all these days. Now only you are hearing them. Yes, now only I am hearing them. Jackals are crying. Cats are fighting. And they are going meow. Like this, they are making noises. And they are screaming. Viparitani nimittani pashyami. And Hatva Swajanam Ahave. In this battlefield, killing my own people, I will never be able to be at peace. Same thing, even after 8 chapters, Lord Krishna knows that is what is in his mind. Therefore, he says, Mai arpita mano buddhi. There is only one flow, Arjuna. You either are part of that flow, or using your own free will, you start another flow. What's wrong with that? I have, after all, free will. Why should I not start another flow? Only thing is, you can start another flow. What will happen? It will trickle up, dry up. Why? Because it is out of your own flow, the flow of the jaded, faded, miserable jiva, and the flow of Ishvara, which is more powerful. Ishvara's flow. Jiva's flow will trickle and dry up. And then Jiva will cry. That's all will happen. And so, or the Jiva will wear, what are they called? Those boxing gloves. And fight with Ishvara. Fight with Ishvara means fight with whatever order there is there. Dishum, dishum. You have to have some special effects it's called. You have to have some special effects and make the appropriate noises. So if you fight with Ishvara, Ishvara gets tired or you get tired, you get tired. And then the whole thing starts again. So this kind of a parallel reality to Ishvara, everybody sets up. Why? Because they don't know Vedanta, they have not studied 7 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. They don't know any better. They don't know that there is a flow. They don't know that the name of this flow is Bhagavan. And most of all, they don't know this flow includes me. I am not away from this flow. I am not being asked to jump into this flow which I didn't make. Why should I follow this flow? This flow is actually authored by me. Why? Because that Bhagavan ultimately is non-separate from me alone. They don't know that. But Arjuna, you know that because you have studied all these chapters. Mayi arpita mano buddhi bhava. You be that. Let there be only one flow. You be part of that flow. This is purely on the Vyavaharika. We are not talking of Satchidananda here. We are talking of Bhagavad Gita in day-to-day life, which is a very, hot topic for everybody. That was the topic which Pujya Swamiji was asked to talk wherever he went. Swamiji, Upanishad in day-to-day life. Swamiji, please talk about Gita in daily life. So there is no day. This is what it is. Recognize that you are part of an already vast, immeasurable, limitless and the most glorious flow. If you include yourself in it, that glory is yours. If you exclude yourself from it, you will sit and cry alone. And all the tears in the world is not enough to create one more flow. And so, Mayi arpita mano buddhi. And then when you do that, what happens? Mameva eshyasi. You gain me alone. Mameva eshyasi. Nissamshayaha, asamshayaha. There is no doubt that you will. Eshyasi means you will gain me. Gain again within apostrophes. Gain not as an object. Gain as yourself alone. As the truth of yourself. Alright, now I understand this. What should I do? Next one. Abhyasa yoga yuktena Chetasa nanya kamina Paramam purusham divyam Yati parthanu chintayan. So here, after talking about the flow and being one with the flow, the Lord says that this is not a one-day affair. Why not? Because that being part of that flow in the beginning takes effort. I have to not keep starting my own flow every day. Starting my own little small fires of what? Raga, Dvesha and various agendas. And so therefore, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. Abhyasa here means two things. First, it can mean Karma Yoga. Abhyasa Yoga, Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, the practice of growing out of Raga and Dvesha. Raga Dvesha management, Raga Dvesha suspension, Raga Dvesha outgrowing, growing out of Raga Dveshas. In fact, you don't control them. You let them drop. Why? Because I have bigger sights. It's like a small baby, small child. And it is holding on to candy, lollipop. It's holding on very, very tight. The mother and the father don't want it to have the candy. Why? Because they want to sleep at night. And if the child has the candy, it will have sugar high and it will not sleep, it will cry, it will wake up the parents also. So now, age-old question. How do you take the candy out of the hands of the baby without making it cry? How do you do that? What do you do? Give it something else. Give it a teddy bear. It will drop. It will drop that and hold on to the teddy bear. And then it will be very attached to the teddy bear. And then time comes for the teddy bear to be washed. Teddy bear is, is having all kinds of vasanas, literally speaking. Alright? And then it is starting to smell. Nobody can be with that child who is holding on to the teddy bear. Teddy bear needs to be going into the washing machine. What should the mother do? Give it something nicer. Okay, I'll let you play with my phone. Give me the teddy bear for 2 hours. Throw it in the washing machine. And the child is playing on something. So this is how everybody grows up. One kind of an addiction is replaced by another addiction, by another addiction, by one more addiction, by one more addiction. This is how one grows up. So here also same thing. And when what is the final object of addiction? Make the final object of addiction Parameshwara as the truth of oneself. That is the sights you have. That is the sights your eyes are set. Make that. But how to make this? I don't know who Parameshwara is. I don't know what it is. So make Parameshwara into symbolizing whatever it is that you want most. Happiness, Parameshwara. Security, Parameshwara. In fact, all the things, all the ends in the universe are divided into Bhagavan only. Arthakama. What is Arthakama? Lakshmi. All various forms of Lakshmi. It is deified. It is the goddess. 8 forms of Lakshmi. Santana Lakshmi. Happiness derived from children. And then what else? And then children means children who grow up and get jobs and all these things. Not children who grow up and run off to ashrams. Okay? Yeah. So then Santana Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi, there is a certain beauty in courage. Dhairya Lakshmi. And then what else? The 8 forms of Lakshmi are there. What are there? Vijaya Lakshmi, success. Jaya Lakshmi, Vijaya Lakshmi, success in all endeavors. And success cannot come without hope. If you go like this, what Lakshmi will come? Only her elder sister will come. What's Lakshmi's elder sister's name? Alakshmi. There is no Alakshmi, it's all here only. It is just personified and put to that side, that's all. So this is exactly how the whole thing unfolds. So all Arthakama pursuits are deified into Goddess Lakshmi. Then moksha through knowledge. What is moksha through knowledge? What is knowledge? Saraswati. Any kind of vidya, paravidya, aparavidya, everything. Fine arts, Saraswati. And then the knowledge of mathematics, stock market knowledge, Saraswati. Everything is Saraswati. Whole thing, it's all Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. And if that awareness is there in the pursuits, then whatever you pursue is Bhagavan. You deify the pursuits. So the first meaning of the word Abhyasa Yoga is Karma Yoga, where I gain the inner maturity to drop the raga and dvesha. Then the second meaning of Abhyasa Yoga comes from the 6th chapter which we have studied, Dhyana Yoga. What is that? Yato nishcharati tatas sanyamyetat niyamyetat. And so Lord Krishna says, each time the mind goes away, bring it back to Bhagavan, Saguna Brahma. Sagunam Brahma. Bring it back to Bhagavan, practice of meditation. So Abhyasa Yoga, first Karma Yoga, and then first meaning, second meaning, and both can be simultaneously applied, is Dhyanam. Karma Yoga gives Antahkarana Shuddhi. Shuddhi means a cleansing of the heart which is filled of ragadveshas, full of ragadveshas. And the Dhyana gives what? Sthirata, Chitta Naischalyam, where the mind does not stray. Mind is with the object of the meditation, which here is the subject called Bhagavan. There is Bhagavan and Bhagavan alone. And so, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena, endowed with this Abhyasa Yoga, equipped with this Abhyasa Yoga, and having a mind, na anyagamina. So having a mind, chetasa, what kind of a mind? A mind that is na anyagamina chetasa. A mind that does not go elsewhere, does not look here, does not look there, is focused on the object of the meditation. Bhagavan. Focused on the task at hand in Karma Yoga, which is also what? Bhagavan. And so Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa Na Anyagamina, and then Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati. So Yati, the person gains. How? Anuchintayan, contemplating upon, meditating upon, doing upasana. Meditation here is very important. Even if you do it for 1 minute a day, it's very, very important. Upasana is meditation. And so, doing this kind of anuchintayan, according to the Shastra, whatever meditations are there, doing that, then Paramam Purusham Divyam. Divyam, self-effulgent. What is that self-effulgent? Oneself alone. Paramam, the ultimate Purusha. Sarvan Purayati iti Purushaha. The word Purusha has two derivations. One is the sad, bad, mad Jiva, which is what? The one who is trapped in this body of 9 orifices. Puri Shete, sleeps the sleep of self-ignorance in this city. And then that is the first meaning of Purusha, Jiva. Then the second meaning is what? Second meaning is Ishvara. Second meaning is Ishvara. And then so this is what is basically going to be talked about. And then so this Purusha, Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Partha. Hey Partha, O Arjuna, the person gains Anuchintayan. But how to do this Anuchintanam? That is the subject matter of the next 3 verses. 3 kinds of upasana, 3 forms of upasana are going to be given, each one more beautiful than the other. Very, very nice. And so a word about upasana in general. In the Veda, many kinds of upasana are there. And we can generally divide them into 2. One kinds of upasana is called Sampat Upasana. Sampat Upasana means where you transpose one thing over another thing which is not that thing, and then meditate. Like there is a sentence, Saligrame Vishnum Dhyayet. In the Saligrama, a stone, basically a fossil. You see, the whole body which is now called India, Bharat, it was attached to Africa. And then slowly, it came slowly, traveling, and then collided with that whole area which is now the Himalayas. And that's why the mountains came, and that's why we find shells. Where will you find shells in the mountain? These fossilized shells are there, and so these are called Saligrama, and they have the insignia of Lord Vishnu. Conch shell is there, Shankha, Chakra is there, a kind of a wheel is there. So Saligrame Vishnum Dhyayet. In many houses they keep that. They keep this, and then they invoke Mahavishnu. Where is Mahavishnu and where is this small stone? This small fossil. And so the fossil is what? Nikrishta Vastu. Nikrishta Vastu means a small little, thing which is dispensable, dismissible. Nikrishta Vastuni Utkrishta Vastu Adhyasya. So it is a kind of a deliberate adhyasa, a deliberate projection I am doing here on something that is so lowly. I am putting Mahavishnu on that and using that for upasana. Mahavishnu upasana. So this is called Sampat Upasana. This is one kind of upasana. Then there is another kind of upasana called Ahangraha Upasana, where Aham is brought in. I is brought in the upasana, not, like for example, when I say Aham Brahmasmi, this can be said in 2 different ways. I can deliberately think of it as a thought, Aham Brahmasmi. Let's say I have not studied the Upanishads, but I have come across the Upanishadic sentence which says, I am Brahman. I have some vague idea of what Brahman is, but I still bring in this sentence and repeat I am Brahman without knowing the meaning of the words I am Brahman. This is called Ahangraha Upasana, whereas the other one where the I doesn't come in, Aham doesn't come in, is called Sampat Upasana. This is generally the two kinds of upasana. Then one more upasana that we know about is Nididhyasana, where the words I and Brahman are one is understood after listening to the Shastra from a qualified teacher, and then that becomes myself. So when I say I am Brahman, I am not forcing myself to think of myself as Brahman. I know that and I am reveling in that knowledge. Like the cow chewing the cud. First it has ingested the grasses of the Upanishads, then it goes to a shady place under a shadow of a tree and then sits there and then brings out what it has eaten and then chews it again and enjoys wheat grass juice. Okay, it has a wheat grass juice smoothie, very healthy, and then it enjoys that repeatedly. This is Nididhyasana. So Ahangraha Upasana is pre-Nididhyasana. It is not exactly Nididhyasana. And the verses that are going to come, the three very important and beautiful verses, can be looked at some kind of a Ahangraha Upasana, or can be looked at as Nididhyasana verses. And since we are, since this is directed towards Mumukshus and Jignasus, we will be looking at them as what? As verses for Nididhyasana. So we will be seeing that. So tomorrow there is no class, and please look at the schedule for the next 3 days. Can you give me that, please? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Felix. And then we'll put this outside the classroom. So today is the 19th, that is done. 20th is a holiday. 21st September we have 9 to 10 a.m. Bhagavad Gita right here. Okay? Yeah, 9 to 10 a.m. 22nd September 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. on the 22nd. Alright? This is in between the Arshavidya meet which will be going on. And don't worry, we are not missing anything important. Alright? We are not missing anything important. And then we will finish 1 hour of classes and then go back to the main lecture hall and join all the people there. And so this is somehow we carved out these times, and so that is the schedule for the next couple of days. And then one more announcement. I came to know that people would like to learn some summary of Bhagavad Gita from Swami Satsvarupananda ji, who is here. And so to this effect, what we will do is we'll invite him once a week to this class from 4 to 5, and then we will do this after the completion of this chapter, and then probably let all this Aradhana, everything get over. After that, maybe the first week in October or something, we will invite him once a week, maybe Thursdays or something like that. He can come and you can all enjoy him. Alright? Yeah. Once a week he will come and do. What is he doing? What did you want him to do? Summary of chapter 2. Okay, so he'll do summary of chapter 2, and then that is what will happen. Alright? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.